I want to tell my dad I forgive him.
Look into that camera.
He was a single father. Wasn't raised by his father. Raised by a wonderful woman. He didn't have all the answers. None of us do. But you did a good job. I might have not liked the way it went as a younger kid, but watching you interact with my kids warms my heart. Asking how they do in school, showing up for the activities. I appreciate it. And to my mother, the greatest woman I know, strongest woman I know. I might not call you like I'm supposed to. I may not come and see you like I'm supposed to. But I love you. I know I wasn't the easiest child. I know we had some ups and downs. And I know it was times you just wanted to give up on me. But I thank you for not. To my kids and wife, y'all are everything I need in life. Without y'all, there would be no me. And I gotta say this last thing. To my brother and sister, I'm proud of y'all. From the life we had to where we are now, we all are doing something amazing in life. We may not be where we want to be, but the race is not over yet. And to my other brothers, I'm proud of y'all as well. My oldest brother, you got a hard life with your son passing, but I'm always there if you need me. I love you all.
Welcome back to another episode of the Shift.Podcast. My name is Jaquez, and I am your host. I'm super excited to be sitting in front of you in your cars, in your houses, wherever you are listening. Today, I have a new person beside me, and this is actually my blood brother, but we see life from two different lenses. He's the oldest, I'm the baby boy, so today we'll be discussing not only his journey, but how he sees the world his own eye view. Alongside me today, my blood brother, Quaylin Harris. What's up, my man? How you doing?
What's up?
Okay. How you doing?
Bro. Living life.
You made it to the pod, huh?
Yeah. Took a little minute.
They took a little minute. You know, we had a couple of delays and cancel, and every time I tried to get you booked to get on the pod, you know.
So I'm happy, but it's for a greater reason.
Okay. We be ready to see what type of greater reason we made it here today.
Oh, yes.
Just pushing right in, you know, like how I stated earlier in the introduction, man, we see life in two different lenses. But you're the oldest, so you have seen life early on rather than I have, you know, and I want to know what was the dynamic of you being the oldest and how you grew up?
So I'll take the dynamic. Being the oldest, it was hard. I didn't know what to do. To be an older brother to a younger sister and a younger brother, I just knew from what I was taught from my older brother. Family dynamics, really a single mother household, and I would see my dad on the summers. So I got about 15.
15. So what was it like, you know, being the older brother and growing up in seeing, your mom struggle and only having to see your dad like during the summers?
Watching my mama struggle was really hard. Uh, there was times like when y'all were younger, y'all didn't notice that our mom didn't eat, so we could eat. Us walking to daycare when we lived in the apartment down off her Percival by Fort Jackson Boulevard, and her working there at the apartment complex, and then later getting a job at the city, juggling both jobs. Still couldn't make ends meet from time to time.
So I'm gonna tell you this. There's times where I can vividly think back to sometimes. I never forget that at one point we used to eat this thing called the Hungry Man dinner. You remember
Oh
that?
yeah, the hot dogs with the beanie dude.
Yo, hot dog with the
With the
a little bit of rice.
Had
And
that
rice,
for like a week straight.
had it when we say rice is on a good day, right?
Yes.
But I do remember vividly a little bit small pinch sometimes, like seeing our mom get to a place where we would eat the hot dogs, hamburger helper, spaghetti for a whole week. Spaghetti was on a good day.
Yeah.
Lasagna was on a good day.
That was like a payday.
A payday. So I do remember a tad bit of seeing our mom struggle, but like actually seeing her struggle and not knowing that she's struggling. But now being where you are today, like how do you think you look at our mom now?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. She came out of something that she had 3 kids by herself. She's originally from Pittsburgh, so she didn't have no help down here. It was just her. I think she's one of the strongest women I know.
And knowing that she's a strong woman, our mom is not the type of mom that feels though that she needs a lot of help. She's strong to another level. But how did you feel like you had to step in? Did you feel like you had to step in during the times to help her out, or do you feel like she always just had it handled?
I felt like when it was time for me to step in, we were a little older. When she started going to school and trying to juggle jobs and all that, that's when I felt like, let me help out where I can. It might have been even watching you guys, even though we ran wild, but it's still something to help out. She don't really like ask for help.
Yeah.
I can remember in elementary school that our grandmother would buy us clothes for school. So that would get put into rotation a lot. Them clothes would get put in a lot of rotation.
So I want to push to this even what you said earlier, so we talked about, how strong our mother is, but I even want to push to, what was it like only being able to see your dad in like during the summer?
Resentment. I didn't like the fact that I got a whole entire father that I barely knew. I would know him 2 months out the year. And most of them times, because he was in the military, he would be in the field. So I would be at my grandmother's house.
And because it felt like resentment, how did that affect you as a child growing up?
I wouldn't say bad. I would just do little things here and there. Because I knew if I do little things here and there, mom would be like, don't make me call your dad. And that was a way to talk to him. Because he wouldn't call me. And I was too young at the time to be like, oh, let me call him.
So you felt like acting up during this time frame in your life was a way to be able to connect to your dad to another level?
Oh, yeah. Even if it was him yelling and cussing at me, I was like, well, at least we on the phone together. Because after that yelling and cussing, it would get to, how's your day going? How's school? Stuff like that.
So it would be more so your way of connecting with your dad was allowing you doing something bad because you knew that our mom was going to call your dad to be able to have a conversation with you. So how did that make you feel just as a kid? Just like, finally you got on the phone with your dad. Like what emotions did it bring onto you?
I would cry. And that's probably because of the yelling. But then after that, I was just like, man, I get to talk to him. I get to figure out how my other brothers is doing, how his day was. It just felt good.
How did you feel growing up now that let me posture this question. Now that you're at an older age in your life, could you say that your dad really was not in your life, or you think that he was just busy trying to make it on his own at the time?
I would say my dad was more of in the streets, but he wasn't a street guy. So he was, when he did have us, would be in the hood with him and riding around and stuff like that. So like I would say he was more of himself, like worried about himself more, and then be like, oh man, I got kids out here.
And how did that make you feel finally when you got an opportunity just to be able to sit amongst your dad and you get to be around him, but he's still not paying you enough attention?
Honestly, at that time I didn't care. I was just happy to be in his presence. I can remember times he would put me in the car, front seat, and he would. It's funny now. I didn't know what he was doing. So he would get those 40-ounce cups,
Yeah.
and put Jack in and fill it up with Coke,
Yeah.
and we would just ride.
Wow.
And I just didn't care where we went. He would rub my head, listen to Jaheim, and we would just go everywhere. So I really loved it.
So now that you're a father, what are some of the differences that you look unto yourself now that you're a father?
I I see my kids every day. If I don't see them because I do have one child outside of my marriage. Well, she was before too. I want to put that out there. I don't want nobody thinking that
Yeah.
she was while I was there.
Yeah.
Before I see her every other week though, so I make sure I'm in their life, even my stepson's life. Like I'm there. They got sporting events. They got something to do. Like they grew up doing gymnastics. I was there. I made sure that they knew at the end of the day they had somebody to count on. They knew that they could never go out and say, "Oh man, my dad was never there." So growing up like that, I never wanted my kids to grow up that way.
So what has it instilled in you or allowed being a father has instilled in you now, considering that your dad wasn't there? Like, what are some things that you're like, I understand you just a minute ago, you said like, I have to be there, I'm around, but like, what are some of the things that you feel like that you can't mess up on because your father wasn't there for yourself?
First of all, having two girls, teaching them life, letting them know that it's ways out, it's certain things out here that as a woman we can't do. And then now finally having my son, like just being there for him, showing him how to be a man. Because I never was taught how to be a man. I had to learn on my own.
And how do you feel like you learning now how to become a man?
I made a lot of mistakes on the way. I can say then I was a manipulator. And the things I did, I wasn't proud of.
And now that you are still discovering yourself to become a man, like, how hard do you think that was?
Extremely hard. I made so many mistakes. So many times I fail to be like, why me? Like how much more can I take? It's been times where I was like, I just can't do it anymore.
And what was those nights like when you had to look yourself in the mirror and you had to say to yourself, you can't do it anymore because you had to keep looking at yourself?
It was hard. It was really hard. It was times I just wanted to quit, run away from it, but I can't do this anymore.
So talking about you can't do this anymore, I want to push into one of your that I seen one of your first stages in life that you ran into a bump. And I think this is where I started to see you try to figure out your identity, who you were. And I used to always ask myself, like, why don't he just get up and just go? But I never knew what it was like to crash into a wall until I crashed into one. And I want to push into the first time at the age of, I want to say it was 18, 17, 18, where you decided to go off into the military. And in the mix of you going off into the military, I'm gonna let you tell the story. What happened with you going off into the military?
So I knew young, school wasn't for me. So I had this in my mind. My mom was in the military, my dad was. I said, let me do it.
Yeah.
It's my way out. I had a 30-year plan condensed easily. I knew sophomore year I was going to go to the military because I didn't want to go to school. So I knew if I went to school, I would have wasted my parents' money.
Yeah.
I go in. I knew then I had a heart issue. Then I found out about 12. I had tachycardia.
So let's back up. Let's pause going into the military. What happened at the age of 12 years old?
We were in Tennessee, and I remember going to the mall, and my chest just started hurting. I told my mom, she was like, all right, she dropped me off at the house, thinking that, I just need a rest. We all thought I needed to just rest.
Yeah.
She came back and she said I didn't look too well. I went to stand up and just collapsed. Later to find out, I was diagnosed with tachycardia, which my heartbeat gets up to 250 beats per minute, which is actually not good for you, to where my heart could explode.
So at the age of 12, you were diagnosed with tachycardia. What was it like as a 12-year-old to know that your heart could have exploded in that moment?
I thought life was short then. I thought at any moment I could just go. And I thought I was too young to go. I didn't, at that point, at 12, I was too young to understand what life was beyond 12.
Yeah.
Not knowing if the next excitement I had in my life, if I was going to go or stay.
How much did it play into your emotions that like you could leave this world?
The first time, I was terrified. And a lot of people say, yeah, they cheated death. But I feel like growing up, it was knocking on the door any minute.
So I'm gonna do a circle moment around that. So I'm gonna put a pin right there. We also grew up in the church.
Yes.
And we was in church every Sunday.
Sunday, Tuesday, no, Wednesday,
Yup.
and second services.
And second services. We grew up in the church every single Sunday. But our mom has instilled God so deeply inside of us. Where any given situation, it's got to protect you, it's got to pull you away from it, or it's got to bring you through it to get to the other side.
Yes.
So considering that we was raised in church, and you said a second ago that you felt like you could just leave life at any given moment, did you trust or believe God in that moment?
At that time, no.
Would you ask yourself any questions to God as if like, why would you do this to me?
I did. After the cap happened, I said, why me? What's your plan for me? Because there's no reason it's happening 5 times and I'm beating it. Why me? And I felt like I wasn't getting an answer. And it started to frustrate me.
So moving back forward, we're going to come back to that. Moving back forward, and you being in the military, you going off to the military, you having a 30-year plan, and you condensed it into, what you say, like 5 years?
Like in my mind, I had it as 30, and I was like, oh, I could do this in 20.
Okay.
And have my beach house in Miami after my 20 retirement.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have my retirement check and a disability check. All from 2 checks coming in at the age of 38.
Yeah.
I had this all planned out. But they say it's a thing. If you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. These were my plans, not God's. These were mine. So while I was in, I go through basic. Mind you, like you said, we came in a really religious house, so we didn't have Nerf guns, water guns, no type of guns.
No type of guns. Because God will protect us.
Yes, she still lives by that to this day. Yeah. Didn't have no type of guns. And the MOS I chose, first of all, was to be defiant towards my parents. I can remember having talks with my dad after, and he said he prayed that I would get out. Because I was a 19 Delta, which is a Calf Scout. So if anything breaks out war-wise, anything like that, I had to be the first one in to clear it out for 11 Bravo to get there. And it made my mom and my dad mad. So going in, so you had to know how to shoot. I didn't know how to shoot. I never shot a weapon, never held a weapon. I shoot, and this for zeroing. I fail. I get what's called recycling. So I had to go back to a different company that just started their process and get with them. Mind you, now I got the hang of shooting. So I'm shooting. I'm doing good. We get to a day in formation where we're standing there, and all of a sudden my heart just goes like that, and it just starts beating fast. By this time now, I know how to stop it, or I know how to just calm myself down to where it's like, but this time it didn't work. And it just kept going. I'm in formation, trying to stand there, knowing it's hurting. They finally break formation, tell us to run to our barracks. I go to run up to the barracks. By the time I get to the bed, I just collapse. And I tell one of my battle buddies, I need help. I need help bad. And they're thinking I'm doing this at the time. Oh, he's trying to get out the ruck march, which was like a 20K, which was a long ruck march. And they thought, oh, he's just trying to get out of it. Little did they know, I knew what was going on. I knew what the issue was. And I said, yo, I got to get to medical. And for anything like that, people knew, in my most medical school, you're weak, you're going to medical. And they put the EKG and stuff up put the stickers on me, and it's at 255 and just staying there. They said there's nothing we can do to you, so they had to evac me to the main hospital off base. And I stayed there for 2 days. They come in, there's like, oh, there's an issue with your heart. It's a way we can fix it. We just need you to sign a paper. And the first thing that came to my mind was, can I call my mother first? I talked to them. Well, I talked to my mom first. They let me call her. And she's like, it's a sign. I was like, no, that ain't a sign. I can stay in. I'm good. I'm good. I can make it through this. They said they can fix it. They waved me to go back to activity because I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I turn around and it happens again while shooting, and I just break down. That's when they said we're going to medically discharge you. I think that's the second time I was mad at God.
So at the age of 18, in 3 different times, one, you just dropped. And then the other 2, it happened in a place where you felt like you was destined to be.
I told you that was I had 30 years. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do my 30, but if I don't, I'll do the 20. I'll be good. Planned out all the way. I said, yeah, this is my life right here. I was gonna be what they call a for lifer. I was gonna retire there. At the time, the girl I was talking to, I didn't tell nobody, but we were supposed to get married, everything. I had this whole life set up for me. I had other plans at the time.
And how do you now, like, just see that phase of your life?
When I hit that wall, I didn't know what to do. You know how people say, hey, your A, B, and C plan?
Yeah.
That was my A, B, and C, and D and F. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Mind you, I didn't go to school, so I had no higher education in high school. At that time, then the girl I was talking to, we broke up. So I was like, and then I had a child on the way, with no money coming in. And I said, what do I do? And at that point, I had no willpower to fight. I was fine being back in my mama's house, broke. Because I gave my best option 110%. I gave it everything I had. I would get up and run before I went in. Because I knew, oh, you got to be able to run. I had strength down pat. My mental was good. Being around my mom, your mental had to be good.
Yeah.
So I had everything. It's just my body gave way sooner than I ever thought it would.
So how would you say you view God and not like considering that we did grow up in a household? Could you say that you was like, I know because during my time in my season when I ran into brick walls and I had plans and things that I like, at one point in my life, I was so angry. I didn't even want to talk to God. At one point in my life, my prayers changed to something one day that I revealed, but my prayers, like everything about the way I was praying, how I was moving, everything changed.
So I got to answer that question. I got to start from when I was 18.
For sure, go ahead.
I stopped going to church all completely together because I was mad at him for a whole nother reason. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give you one more shot because this is something I want. And when it failed and it just ended everything, I was hurt. I said, in my mind, I said, Lord, I gave you another chance. I gave you another chance. I mean, I was going to church basically every Sunday. I would pray. I would even write letters to my mom and ask her to pray for me. To lose it all hurt. At one point, I said I'll never go to church again. I was done with God altogether.
A lot of people will say, watching this, who are you to even question God? Because he's considered to be a God that can do all things. But my question to you is, why do you believe that you felt like you had to give God another chance when he gave you 3?
I felt like giving God another chance because I watched like I mentioned in the beginning, I watched my mom struggle. That had pissed me off for the longest because she would go to church. We would be every Sunday, Wednesday, second service, revivals, and I wouldn't see it change. And then I got older. I said, "Well, that's her life. There's no way you could do the same thing to me."
Yeah.
So let's try this for my life. And then the door just slammed in my face, and I said, "Oh, that's it." That's when I jumped into the world head first.
And what was it like going into the world at first?
Felt loved, felt appreciated, felt invincible. Felt like I could do anything.
And if you're open, how was it jumping into it? What were some things that you felt like you got involved in while being in the world that made you feel those things?
There were times I would revert it back to the things I would watch my dad do. I wasn't a hood guy,
Yeah.
but I would hang around street people. And I loved it. I loved the excitement. I remember times me and my best friend, we would be at kickbacks and everybody in there had guns. And I was fine with that. I was fine at one point trying to be the dope man. I said in my mind, I said, this is where God want me to be at. Then this is where I'll stay.
Would you also say during that time that it was a loss of an identity phase?
I would say so. That's not the way we were raised. Mom kept us out the street. We weren't in the best schools because we were located at the time, but the friends we hung around, she made sure they were good. It was my own doing, honestly. It wasn't the best decision, but that's the decision that made me feel the best with myself.
And what were some of those things that like you learned out of being in the street? Like what were some of those things that were like, I understand you said you was out in the street and, you was being around people with guns, but like what were some of the things that you learned that you felt like you probably would have never learned if you fully walked with God early on?
Like to this day, I always watch my back and watch my surroundings. I'll watch and see what's going on. I learned how to read people really well. So I know when people's on bullshit and stuff like that. Like I just like, oh yeah, he's fake.
Yes.
I learned that quickly. I learned how to watch surrounding in case something's going to look like it's about to happen. Hey, let's go ahead and get up out of here. It's about to go left.
And what else do you feel like you learned just in your lifetime after you felt like you made that turn away from God?
That what they told me in church didn't seem 100% true.
Which was?
The world is a bad place. The worldly world is a bad place. The people that you hang around can get you in trouble. At the time, I didn't believe none of that.
And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. We used to hear that a lot. And I never knew how true that was until you get older and you start moving in this world and you start creating or doing things and different comments would be made and you'd just be looking like, am I tripping?
You ain't tripping. It's real.
It's real. It's real that we live in a world that really does not honor God. And the people that do honor God, they get put in a place where they almost get condemned for almost anything they do. And they're like almost robots.
Yeah, I didn't want to live like that at that time. I was like, church again? Who's waking up at 7 in the morning to get ready to go to church?
Yeah.
I'm out here partying till 4, 5 in the morning. I don't got time to wake up.
Yeah.
Man, it was a wild time.
For a stretch of your life, from the age of 18 when you came back from the military, and me seeing you like laying mom's crib or you wasn't doing anything, I think it was almost like a transition stage also, because when you came back or you was in that process, like I think you ended up moving out at like 19 or 20 if I'm not mistaken.
I had Angel at 21, so I would say 4 months after Angel was born. So
Okay.
it's around 21.
So I'm 21. But I remember like there's a process in there where, you be take care of Angel and, you will be trying to figure out your life. And it was almost like a struggling phase. But like, it's almost like from 18, probably up until, I want to say maybe a sophomore in college. Because I think at this given time I was at Mississippi State, it's like your life didn't take off at all.
It didn't.
And you was just like stuck. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what is Buddy doing? But again, at this phase in my life, I don't think I've ever encountered a situation or a brick wall that we talked about earlier that has phase. So for those like 5 to almost 6 years, or probably less than that, I think my math is wrong because I'm thinking about my sophomore year. From those like 3 to 4 to maybe 5 years, how did it impact you as a whole, as a human, as a man, while having a daughter?
I was lost through this whole thing. And mind you, if Angel's 4 months and I'm moving out, I had another child on the way. I had quit one job I had got and ended up working at the city of Columbia. At that time, I checked for $500 every 2 weeks. Broke. I didn't know what to do. I had already had one child to pay daycare for, and then I'm bringing another one in. That's when the part come in is where I just wanted to give everything up and just quit. Because the plan I had for my life didn't look like this. It didn't look like me struggling again or going through the same struggles I watched my mama go through. Because I always said if I want to have my kids will be better than I was. They'll be better off. They won't want for nothing. Which I could say they are now. In the beginning, I didn't see the picture.
Would you say, and I just thought about this literally at this very moment, would you say that you was almost creating the same cycle that our mother has, but just in the same state?
I would have. I would say I want to in survival mode. I'm just getting by, and going through the flow. But if it wasn't for my wife, I don't know where I would be.
And how has she impacted and changed your life?
Greatly. This woman not only helped me get my bachelor's and working towards my master's, she wanted me to do better for myself. She met me. We ended up working together at Olive Garden because I was working like these terrible jobs. Mind you, she had already graduated high school, graduated college, and we're getting ready to be a teacher. Two different people. I'm still out here partying, going out every weekend with a child. And she's out here, she has a son herself, but she's not partying and not going out because she's like, I got responsibilities. She really showed me what it was like to have somebody really love you.
So, 2 questions. Would you say she's the first person that has taught you what responsibility really is?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
How so?
Because I hate to say it now, but when I first had Angel, every weekend she was with mommy. And I was going out, doing the same cycle that my dad was doing. I said, oh, she won't remember. Oh, she'll never notice. Angel got about 2 and built this bond with my mom. And I was just there. And I felt bad. She showed me that, hey, at one point I was just what I would call a weekend dad. She was like, you should give more time. You should do this with her. And I was like, she right. Because I'm not holding, I'm not holding myself to a higher standard. I'm just going back to what I watched my dad do.
You also just said a second ago that this is the first woman that loved you. So there's always a difference between a mother's love and the woman that you fall in love with. Why would you say that this is the first woman that really loved you?
I never really allowed anybody to get that close to me.
Why so?
It was if I let you in, now you got secrets that nobody else has.
This is a great part. A lot of men think like this, right? Why do you believe that you have to protect yourself for so many different secrets that you don't want nobody else to know?
As me, well, I would say for myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like if I give you everything,
Yeah.
and you run off, now I'm back to square one.
Is it more so that she will be running off with baggage that you never revealed to anybody else?
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, y'all don't know this about him, but he does so and so and so and so. It's things I never wanted people to know.
So how did you know to even release that baggage though? How did you know that she was the one to release that baggage too? Because she could have ran off with your stuff also.
She made me feel safe. She made me feel like everything would be all right. She's actually the first woman I've ever cried in front of. So that was a big one in itself.
How does, we're gonna get back to your journey, but how does a woman makes you feel safe as a man?
I can tell her anything. I mean, anything. We can have conversations, and it'd be about nothing, but it's about everything. She was there for me at low points. I mean, dark times.
Yeah.
And we've been on the top.
Yeah.
She's never not once thrown anything I've ever done to her in my face. Mind you, she always held me accountable.
Yeah.
But she never thrown it in my face.
She just still allowed you to grow as a man.
Yeah. She let me be myself and figure myself out. Instead of, hey, this is the person you should be. This is what I want you to be. She let me figure it out. It took a while, but she let me figure it out.
How hard do you think it was for her to allow you to figure some of your ways out?
had to be very hard. The things she dealt with, I don't put that on anybody. For her to even stay as long as she did was a blessing.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get back into your journey where, you was working for the city and you ended up getting a really big time job where you was making some money.
So you're talking about when I worked at Brinks.
Yeah.
So I lost a job at the city due to a program they put in place
Yeah.
to where you had to get your CDL Class A and your C water license.
Yeah.
In a year. The part that put me out was getting my CDL. I lost my job and I said, man, I'm back to square one. I think I was out of work for 2 weeks to almost a month.
Yeah.
No money coming in, and she had to pay every bill. We put an application in for Brinks. I was like, oh, they'll never hire me. Then I had to think about, I do have some military experience, and I do not know how to shoot with a weapon.
Yeah.
And I got the job right there as soon as I got there. And when the checks started rolling in, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm bringing home $1,500 to $1,600 a week at this time.
Yeah.
My job, I had never had this much money come in or even hit my bank account unless it was tax season.
Yeah.
We go on trips. I'm back paying all the bills. And it's like, life can't get no better. It just, until I was there for a year, until I almost died again.
That's your fourth time that you almost died. But the way that it happened, it wasn't your heart.
It wasn't.
How did
So we had a truck that carbon monoxide backed up into, and I was riding that truck that day. Started feeling funny early in the morning. I called down to let them know, hey, I'm not feeling too well. And they're like, okay, well, finish your route and then come back. I said, okay. So if anybody knows, I was at the All South, right there off of, what's that road? It's not Decker. I can't remember right now, but I know it was down there going towards LR.
Yeah.
And I passed out. Not knowing I passed out. I know I woke up in a second compartment where you put the money together to put in the ATM. Pass out, wake up. I said, man, that's weird. I said, let me sit down. Something really not right. I passed out again. I said, wow, that's really strange. I've never passed out back to back. I turn around and pass out a third time, but it feels like I'm sleeping. It feels peaceful.
Yeah.
Not knowing the whole time, carbon monoxide is just pumping in the truck and I'm just breathing it in. The third time I pass out, something says, get up. But in my mind, I'm saying, no, I'm just taking a little nap just to get back right so I can finish my job. Something says, get up. So I don't want to. This feels right. And the third time I heard get up, my eyes open up, but I can't see anything. My eyes, it's like a blur. So as I'm getting up to get out, it's a 2-door system that you got to go through. So you got to buzz through the first door and then buzz through the second. Buzz through the first, and I scraped my arm. Didn't know what happened. I buzzed through the second door and fall out. So when I fall out, it's a way I'm glad nobody did it, but I could have got robbed instead of old lady said, "Oh my gosh, do you need some help?" I don't remember saying nothing to the lady. I don't remember none of it. I didn't know how bad it was until I got to the hospital and they said I could have died. It was so bad to where I defecated myself and peed on myself, to where my body was shutting down. And I think that was the first time I ever was afraid to die. Because before that, I felt like I had nothing to lose. But at that point now, I'm making money. My kids are good. I got 2 girls and a son. So I and a wife, and I had something to live for. And losing that scared me more than anything ever.
You said that in the mix of you falling out, before you decided to bust between 2 doors, you heard a voice. What would you believe that voice? What would you say that voice was?
I know now it was a guy saying, "Get up. It's not your time."
So, how would you describe that voice to somebody that is looking for the voice of God? And have you ever, before that moment, asked to hear God's voice?
So I asked but never heard.
Mhm.
But what I would tell somebody is, it's subtle. But it's like, mom would talk to you and be like, "Hey, you better go do this."
Yeah.
But it's soft. Like, "Hey, you get up."
Yeah. And do you believe that if you did not get up in that moment, do you believe that you
I wouldn't be here today.
So in this equation of there's 4 different instances where you have almost died. How do you sit in this chair and know that God is still keeping you for a purpose?
So when I was about 15, first time ever, I would go to altar calls as a child and wouldn't get nothing. There's been times where you've been prophesied over, Cornelius has been prophesied over. I would get nothing. 16, I went there, and Lady K told me I would be a distinguished gentleman. Didn't know what it meant. And I said, okay. I had to figure out what a distinguished gentleman was at first. I always thought a distinguished gentleman was like a big time money making person, but no, they're like genuine people that have been through things that has a story to tell that can help somebody else out, almost in the sense of a deacon.
Yeah.
I said, nah, that could never be me. I don't live my life like that. I'm no deacon. But by the 4th time, I said, it's the reason why he's keeping me here. I need to answer that calling. But at that time, you're stubborn. Because after the 4th time it happened, I was like, oh, I'm invincible. I'm untouchable at this point. I said, oh man, let's get back in this world heavy. I can't be touched.
That's real. And there's 4 times that you have almost died and you lived through every last one of them.
I would say it's 4 that we talked about, and 2 more we haven't.
Okay, what's the last 2?
So I would say high school I happened.
Okay.
Have a tachycardia attack where I couldn't wrestle. And another time when me and my wife just moved in to our house, and it happened, and I was on the floor, and she's never seen it before.
Yeah.
And she was panicking. What do I do? How can I help? Mind you, I'm on the floor just laying there, trying to get it to come down. So in total, we have the 6 times.
6 times. So 6 times you also lost your life. Do you feel like in those 6 times that God has literally kept you every last time?
He has, but at that time, I wasn't thinking about, oh, God got me. I said, oh, man, I keep bouncing back.
Yeah. So do you think you in your mind during these times, do you feel like you're bouncing back due to your own strength?
I'm thinking it's my own strength because, at that time, I'm thinking, this is getting easy. This is normal.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, man, I can't be touched. All because of me, all because of the mindset our mom gave us to not be weak.
No.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is me. My body too strong for that. I'm in at this time I'm in peak shape still.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like great athlete. I'm feeling the best of the best.
So it's almost like you had a mindset that anytime that something was getting ready to happen to your life, you was gonna thrive through it regardless. Like it was nothing that was ever gonna stop you.
When it came to me dying, yeah. I felt a man amongst boys, I would say. Like, oh yeah, can't nobody beat this. You hear people going through something like this, dropping. So, oh man, they're weak. They better get it together.
And now, just with you on the dying 6 times, would you say that you feel like you reached your purpose?
Now where I'm at in life, I'm still not there.
Okay.
But I know there's something there. I really just got to, in my sense, find the right church for me.
What do you think you're waiting for other than the right church? Because church is only a place, well, my own personal opinion. It's my own personal opinion. Church is only a place where people go to be able to serve God.
I'm afraid to answer that calling.
Why?
What that calling has me talking to kids. I was never ready. That's something I wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as being a preacher type, but like, what if it has me minister to people? Like, this is what I've been through. I'm afraid of that because I don't want nobody to be like, oh, well, you did so, you done this, and this. How can you tell me?
If I can be as vulnerable as you right now, I will also say I'm afraid too.
Or we both know what you have over your life with this.
And the reason I am connecting right now in this space is because there's a lot of people in this world that's very afraid to walk into their calling. And one of the reasons that I believe I'm afraid is because standing in front of people with a lot of wounds over my body, not physically, but inside, and being able to still deliver what God has for me could be scary because people put those people that are in ministry on a certain platform when in reality we're all humans.
They hold them to a standard of like they're not human in the sense of, oh, you can't make mistakes. And I would say that's what I'm afraid of too, because there's some things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of.
For sure.
But I know to get it out, I'll have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And not saying our church we grew up in was judgmental.
Yeah.
But who's to say I go to minister to these other churches and these people are judgmental? And that's a scary thing to deal with. Knowing you're here for a purpose and these people looking at you like, well, you used to run the streets, why would I listen to you? Like, you're not somebody I want my kids to look up to.
For sure. You almost died 6 times. What would it take you to walk into your purpose? Because most people would say, after they almost had a one encounter, or if they had cancer or a gunshot wound, people would turn their face towards God, or possibly turn their face towards God, right? That's not 100% right. But like, you almost died 6 different times. What are you waiting for? How do we not know the 7th time won't be the time when we all say goodbye?
That's a good one. I can say it's time for me to. My wife, especially my daughter Kaylee, are pushing me to. Because to wake up every morning, I wake up like I'm ready to go to church. I get my son dressed, and Kaylee will come in and be like, "Why are you not going?" And it's not a conversation I've had with her.
Yeah.
Or she's like, so it's kind of hard to explain to a child that me and God are beefing. It's hard to tell her that, hey, me and God are not right now seeing eye to eye. Because of my child life and my adult life.
I got a question. If God is a God that can speak in so many different ways, right? And you almost died 6 times. You have beef, or would you say you're beefing with God? What if God is calling you through your own daughter in the most subtle way as possible? That subtle voice that you heard, get up. What happened if it's Kaylee like saying like,
Hey, come to church
come to
today.
church? Have you ever looked at it through those lenses?
I actually I haven't. I've never looked at it like that. I've always thought she's too young to understand, not knowing that God can use anybody. And now that I think about it, there's been times plenty of people said things I let go. Cause I remember going to my dad's house last year. My dad was like, "Hey, I got some suits for you. Now you can start going to church." And I laughed. Like I thought he was just playing. Like, ha.
Yeah.
I take the suits. Don't even use them. You got daughter get baptized. I go there and I sit through the whole sermon. Well, I sit through the whole ceremony of getting baptized and I walk out. I had rather sat in that car than to sit in the church. That's how bad it was.
Why did you walk out?
For one, I personally didn't like the people at the church because of some things that's happened in the past. And I can say, I hold grudges like our mom does. You know, when she cut somebody off, she cut them off.
Yeah, for sure.
And I said, I tell I picked that up from her. It's like, you've crossed me once. It's nothing we got to talk about. And after that happened, it was never like, oh, I could never be there again. That's part of the reason. And the other thing was, I'm afraid of what God has to say. What if I sit in that sermon and he's speaking through that pastor and he's talking right about me, and I know he's talking about me? Then I mean, it's my time to go ahead and make that move.
We all live in this world for a purpose. To the people that believe, to the people that don't believe, we live in this world for a purpose. And everybody has a time,
Yes.
but nobody knows the day, the time, or the hour. For example, I work at this place where I see multiple different people on a daily basis. It was a girl that I used to see all the time. Really nice girl, really cool. She ain't take no crap though. And I just seen her, I want to say 2 weeks ago. A whole interaction with her, conversation, everything. 2 weeks later, she got killed. And she was going just like that. And she was probably going the first time, but God has given you 6 chances. So my question for you is, what is it really going to take for you to walk into your purpose and not allow, and this is kind of for the both of us, and not allow people around you to stop you from where you're trying to go? Because the devil can't just stop you just by you not dying. You know, he can also stop you by people mess with you, or you're afraid of what people are saying. So what is it really going to take for you to take that next step? Because the step is here. And the last thing that I will want as a little brother is to see you in your grave and seeing the word purpose written already and you not fulfilling it. So what do you think is really, really going to take?
I know if a 7th time comes, who's to say I can make it up to 7? I would say me stepping out of my comfort zone and accepting my purpose. Me not being afraid of what people say would be that reason why I take that step forward.
And I don't usually do this, but is there anything else on your heart that you want to talk about? Because I can feel a tug on my end that is something else on your heart that you want to be able to speak about and be open to. But if it's not, that's fine. We can close the show. But if there is, here's the floor.
I want to tell my dad, I forgive him.
Look into that camera.
He was a single father, wasn't raised by his father. They were raised by a wonderful woman. He didn't have all the answers. None of us do. But you did a good job. I might have not liked the way it went as a younger kid, but watch you interact with my kids warms my heart. Asking how they do in school, showing up for the activities. I appreciate it. And to my mother, the greatest woman I know, strongest woman I know. I might not call you like I'm supposed to. I may not come and see you like I'm supposed to. But I love you. I know I wasn't the easiest child. I know we had some ups and downs. And I know it was times you just wanted to give up on me. But I thank you for not. To my kids and wife, y'all are everything I need in life. Without y'all, there would be no me. And I gotta say this last thing. To my brother and sister, I'm proud of y'all. From the life we had to where we are now, we all are doing something amazing in life. We may not be where we want to be, but the race is not over yet. And to my other brothers, I'm proud of y'all as well. My oldest brother, you got a hard life with your son passing, but I'm always there if you need me. I love you all.
as you heard him give this message, man, I thank you for just coming onto the show, sharing your story. And to the people that don't know, I would say this, and this is usually information that I don't usually share, that we've tried to schedule this at least 5 times, and every time it's got canceled. So to be able to hear your story and to be able to have a platform that God has allowed me to have and it's still going, and to be able for you to share your story on this platform, to be able to see people and help people and guide people, lead people. I'm thankful that you were brave enough to be able to do this, because sitting down with all these cameras and all these lights can be a very hard thing. So I'm grateful for you to not only be my brother, but to you sit on the show and to just be amongst what we're creating and what we're building. And just know that even though your life keeps shifting, there's never a place that purpose can live underneath the shift, because the shift happens whenever we follow our purpose. So to you and to myself, let's continue to be brave. Let's continue to chase after our purpose. Let's continue to keep trusting God and keep instilling what God has not only put inside of us and also our mom. All right?
All right.
That's it. Thank you so much for tuning into the shift. I'm thankful for you to be able to watch this episode. I'm thankful for you to be able to just finish it in your cars, in your houses, wherever you're watching. And again, your life could go from place to place, and the shift is not coming. It is here. We out. Peace. Okay.
That's bad.
Yeah, I wasn't my boy. It was good.